Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to another Monday morning in Grid City. Good to have all of our loyal listeners back.
Our gritizens.
I'm glad the weather's turning out a little better this week.
A little.
It's warm. It
It's
was warm
warmer.
and windy and rainy.
Yeah.
It was a good 10 degrees warmer today.
Yeah.
Or this week, really, the whole week.
Yeah, you're right about that because I dressed the same way I did last weekend. I was sweating.
Yes.
I was sweating.
Yeah, you almost have to have a different set of clothes for each 5 to 10 degree interval.
Yeah. I think that's still why layering's important, right?
Very important.
You don't want the biggest jacket. You just want layers you can remove.
Exactly.
You have a good week?
Yeah, pretty good. Highlight of the week might have been going to the rodeo.
Yeah. PBR was
It was
sweet.
pretty good. I'd never been to a rodeo before, and I thought that it was more exciting than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be more stuff going on than just pure bull riding,
Mm-hmm.
but it was pretty much just that and one, MC kind of keeping it all together.
Yeah.
But just watching the bulls, they're so strong.
They are.
It does seem like a crazy thing to try to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bet those guys get serious adrenaline rushes.
Oh yeah,
when they're on them.
Even before.
Yeah,
Probably the whole day.
Oh yeah.
Or do you think you would get a tolerance to it? You just get used. You're bulls. They're just every day.
Nah, I don't think you get used to any something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, especially because the bull is sort of like that X factor, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, and you're seeing people get injured constantly around you.
Yeah.
I think so. There were 12 finalists,
Mhm.
and there were probably 20 original bull riders. Is that what it was? Round one got
I
rid
think
of
it was
half or
I
something.
think it was 20. Yeah.
3 of them got injured.
Yeah, at least. I'm sure a few of those guys will probably need to get looked at too, because some of them were walking off a bit gingerly.
Yeah, I mean, I only saw a graceful dismount maybe twice,
Yeah.
where the guy landed on his feet afterwards.
Yeah.
So there's not really a good way for it to end, even if you do make it the 8 seconds.
No.
And the amount of people who made it 8 seconds was a lot lower than I was expecting.
Yeah, I think, just based on looking at the scores, only 4 guys maybe stayed on twice throughout the whole weekend.
Yeah, right. And the guy who won, he was the only guy who stayed on all 3 times.
Yep.
Which it seems to me so they have a thing where in the final round you get the order is the bulls are picked by the rank order of the riders.
Yeah, because I think the first 2 are qualifications.
Yes.
And, yeah, you get to pick your bull for the championship round.
Which I thought was interesting because I was curious what the strategy was. And I think the strategy is choose the easiest bull.
Right.
Because basically staying on is so much more significant than the difference in a difficult run and an easy run.
Which, that's a aspect to the sport that kind of fascinates me, because now as a rider you have to understand all the different bulls.
Yeah,
you have to have
right.
a preference.
You're this one likes to do this and this one likes to do that and
Exactly.
this one, sometimes he's crazy, but sometimes he doesn't. There were some people who did reruns because they scored low, and I was like, take your low score. Why would you do a retry for a higher score when you're just going to get bucked off?
Yeah, I mean, because you could retry it, and maybe you do score higher, but you might also be getting carried off in a gurney.
Yeah, or you might get a 0.
Yeah,
you didn't make it that long. That's the majority of what happens.
Yeah, it's but yeah, it is kind of interesting. When on the jumbotron, when they're in the chute getting ready to go out, you have the rider and their stats, and you have the bull and their stats,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like how the judging goes. Half the points are for how well the rider rode, and half the points are how tough the bull was to ride.
Yeah,
It seems like a good two-handed element.
those
There were some really impressive kicks by the bulls.
Oh yeah,
where they jump up in the air, all 4 feet in the air, and then they throw another back kick on top of it.
Yeah, I think that's part of the logo is one of those kicks, because I mean that's
that's a buck and bronco.
Yeah.
Or not a bronco, but a bull, I guess.
I I'll tell you what, when those guys go sideways on there, like, oh my
There was one
goodness.
guy, the bull just kind of went down and rolled on him.
Yeah.
That guy, I think, got maybe the most injured.
I think his knee's probably done.
Yeah. Which, I don't know how much knee you need for bull riding.
Yeah.
Or how hurt they play through. But, yeah, it seemed like the bull was kind of cheating.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to just roll around on the ground.
Yeah, but, that's...
You got to kick up high in the air.
There's not a lot of sports where you deal with, equipment that is living, right?
Yeah, right. Polo.
Yeah. Dressage.
Yeah, exactly. Dressage is funny to me.
Yeah.
Making the horses dance.
Does I guess like the agility competitions for dogs.
Oh yeah, we're doing stuff with dogs. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Or even I was thinking there might be other rodeo type events around. Like I always like the mutton busting, which is when the kids ride on the sheep.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. I think we were talking earlier. I was they have the barrels out there. I was wondering if somebody was going to run into one of the barrels.
Yeah, you never saw any clowns jumping into the barrels.
No.
Which seems like half the fun of the barrel.
Yeah, I thought that was like the tradition of the barrel.
Yeah, right.
The clown
there is barrel racing and horse racing, which maybe that's part of what. But even still, you got to maybe you fill the barrel with water or something.
They just still use the same surfaces and equipment. By the way, a lot of dirt getting taken into the Tacoma Dome.
There was, and even there was like at I wouldn't call it halftime, 2/3 time there, the dirt mover came in and kind of zambonied up.
Yeah, the skid steer.
Yeah, actually that guy did a good job. I was wondering, the dirt only seemed like it was probably a few inches thick.
It was probably at least half a foot. I feel like you really need like some cushioning there for those guys like taking hard falls.
Yeah.
Like you don't want all that energy to just like transfer to the concrete.
That's a good point. It's probably one of the better landings is to have a good 6 inch of topsoil just lightly fluffed up there for you.
Yeah, and I'll bet that's like, that's probably one of the big logistical challenges is you're playing at a lot of like arenas that aren't purpose built for this, so you have to take a ton of dirt in there. Mm-hmm. Also transporting livestock.
I was going to say they had 12 bulls at least.
Yeah, at least, and then horses too.
Yeah, a couple of horses just to wrangle the bulls.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I wonder how much the farms that breed bulls for the PBR make off of them.
I don't know. That's a good idea. That's a good question. Because it has to be a pretty specific type of breeding, you would imagine.
And I imagine it's kind of like horses too. Like the organization probably cares a lot about pedigree in terms of like looking out for potential health issues and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
Right, like it's got to be good. They have to come from good stock.
Yes, this bull was descended from that bull.
Watching all those bulls made me realize I don't really. I hardly ever see bulls outside of, PBR.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think that actually, bulls in the industry, if you have, a whole bunch of cattle, right, or you're making steaks or you have a dairy, right, bulls are, they're kind of a necessary but not that necessary byproduct.
Right. Yeah.
You just got a bunch of heifers, making milk. How many bulls do you need?
Yeah.
Right, very few.
Yeah, very few.
But what do you even do with the bulls other than right,
ground
send
beef.
Send them to the rodeo.
You grind them up.
I guess so.
I mean that's what happens to chickens. I mean, all they just kill hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of roosters just get killed every year because roosters don't like to coexist, and we don't eat the roosters.
Exactly. Right. So the amount of bulls out there, it's probably this bull might be good for the PBR, but they could even donate it.
Yeah. That's my parents, where I grew up, we had a bull. Well, not a bull, a steer. Because nobody wanted him. It was
exactly.
We have some pasture. He can live out
here. He doesn't have to die.
Yeah.
He can jump around in the rodeo.
Yeah. also like bull anatomy. Like did you see that they got like a big,
got a big
hump of
on there.
fat or
Yeah,
something
exactly,
right behind
like
their
like
head?
those Asian cattle.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. Like I didn't even know bulls had that. And
Yeah, I don't even really.
I wonder if it's all of them or if it's just certain
I
breeds.
think it's certain breeds, but some of them definitely had more of it than others. They
Yeah.
all had it.
Yeah. The horns were interesting too. Some
of the
definitely
horns
had.
were kind of curled in.
Yeah.
They looked safe. This one of them had horns that didn't even seem to extend out past its head,
No.
which is nice. I think that'd be. I don't know if I'd be more afraid of the horns or the stomping.
I think I would. The thing I'd be most afraid of is it either rolling over me or pinning me up against the surface. Like, because I don't know if you saw in like the chutes, they have that one guy that puts down like a board or something that stops the bull from crushing the rider's leg by leaning to the side.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
when you're in the gates,
yeah.
that could probably happen pretty easy.
Yeah.
I actually think probably the worst would be when you get bucked off and then you get a double back kick.
Ooh.
You
ever seen that?
Would be worse than stomped, but I'm not sure actually if that's true.
Yeah. You ever seen that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I guess if you're in the air, you get a glancing blow maybe or something.
Oof.
But even still.
Yeah. I mean, even the guys that land gracefully on their feet, that's still like a lot of force going into like your ankles and knees. Like
you got to imagine it's comparable to whiplash.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was one of the bulls' names, which I was like, that's a good name.
Yeah, there were a couple good bull names. Domino.
I liked War Department.
It's a good name. Yeah, they were just like, they weren't like over the top, but just enough to be like, oh.
Juju.
Juju's
a fun one.
But we did, and it was like a good amount of time too. It was like for something that like at most it takes 8 seconds, and we probably saw 40 rounds.
Yeah,
pretty close
something like that.
It filled out a good 4 hours of the day.
Yeah, sure did.
3.5 hours maybe.
With PBR, looked around the concessions, did not
I thought
see
the concessions
Pabst
would be
Blue
way
Ribbon.
better. There was like maybe 2 merch stands, and everything else was generic. And
do you think that's a Tacoma Dome problem? Like, I think it might be an issue with the venue.
Maybe, but I think like there was space for more vendors.
Yeah. What if like
it didn't seem like PBR really brought very much on their end. They just had the 2 merch booths that were theirs.
Yeah, which is crazy because it seemed like maybe like
people wanted the merch.
10,000 people were there.
Yeah, if they had like a good girl cowboy hat, they would have sold 50,000 of them.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're not kidding.
It was like 2/3 girls at the rodeo.
Yeah, like I said, any excuse to put on the hat and boots.
Exactly.
They're excited
Take
for
a picture.
Yep. But yeah, it's gosh, like I'd never actually been to PBR before, so I feel like I learned a lot.
I got to check it off. It was my first rodeo, and now never again.
A lot of Brazilians.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Is like 1/3 of the rodeo people were from Brazil, or what do you call them? Rodeo riders.
I guess riders.
Rodeations.
Which I was actually kind of surprised because when I think of like South America, Argentina,
I was going to say
is
I think
like
of
the
Argentina.
cowboy place in my mind, right? The gauchos. So
yeah, my great uncle Osvaldo would always say the steak out there you could cut it with a spoon.
Wow.
Yeah,
makes me want to go to El Gaucho.
Well, maybe later in the day you have freedom to do as you wish.
Yeah, it's expensive though.
It is expensive. You get Heath to serve you up. Maybe you give you.
Oh, he works there.
Yeah, Heath works at El Gaucho.
They have a cigar lounge in there.
No, I didn't know that.
But you can't smoke in restaurants in Washington, so they built like this cigar lounge.
Oh, it's like a separate building?
No, it's in there. There's a cigar lounge in there because it was in the plans for the building before it was illegal to have smoking sections in restaurants. And then after the restaurant was done, it's like, well, you can't do this anymore. So it's never been used. I think they use it still for like seating or like events as like a side room, but it was like obviously built as a cigar lounge.
Oh, well, it'll have the ambiance, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But
I think they're doing fine.
Yeah. I wonder how much the like the guys who haul the bulls for PBR get paid, like per mile or like.
Oh, you mean
the
like
truckers?
the truckers?
Yeah, the livestock truckers that haul them.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because that's some high value cargo right there.
Oh yeah. Well, I wonder how many bulls are in each thing.
Yeah, I think you could probably fit like 10 or 12.
Really? You think you could fit them all in one together?
Like a 53-foot. Yeah.
That's a big haul.
That is. Do you think they get along with each other?
I feel like you got to herd them up? You got to herd them.
Yeah. Well, maybe they just drug the shit out of them so like they're docile the whole time. Because like I can't imagine 12 bulls in a 53-foot aluminum steel trailer going 70 miles per hour down the highway,
and all of a sudden they're
perfectly
banging.
calm with each other.
Right.
Like, yeah. I'll bet that's a tough gig to get livestock hauling.
Well, yeah,
for
there's
PBR.
probably only one guy who does it.
Yeah, one or two maybe. It might be like a 2-trailer job.
Yeah.
I guess the horses probably have to go separate too. I feel like the bulls have some animosity with the horses.
Yeah, well, or the horse guys have their horse trailers.
Yeah. The horse guys, I mean, I wonder how many of those guys they have in PBR. Like, that's got to be a tough gig to get, too.
Looked like it was those two guys, and they'd been around for a while.
Yeah.
Seemed like most of the crew had been around for a while.
Yeah.
The clown guy was retiring, and he said he'd been around for like 20, 30 years.
You know what that means? It's a good crew.
I guess that's true.
It's a good crew.
A tight crew.
Tight crew. But, yeah, I mean, just in terms of, like, the logistics, like the complexity of like the setup and breakdown and like the different kinds of things you have to haul, it's like certainly up there with those other touring sporting events.
Yeah, right. It's like Monster
Jam or motocross and stuff like that. Like, I just couldn't imagine planning that. I mean, they were in Everett earlier.
3 days ago.
Yeah. I mean, just to tear all that down. I mean, the Tacoma Dome is probably empty right now. I'll bet they've already packed up all of their stuff and shipped out.
That's impressive.
But yeah, it's I recommend it. Yeah, I mean, we went for $20, and if you wait later when they're just trying to fill more seats, you can probably get single-digit tickets.
I saw some for $8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like they were checking where you sat.
Yeah, and yeah, some good spots too. I would say probably during like the qualifying rounds, it's a little slow, but the championship round is.
Yeah, you can show up a little late.
Yeah, you can definitely show up a little late, especially like when you have like every single guy. You know, they have 6 chutes where guys are waiting. Nobody makes it. Like, none of them even get past 3 seconds. It's a little discouraging sometimes.
I thought they made it too hard.
Yeah.
At first, but they showed out by the end. You know, the cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
Those guys stuck it around.
Yeah. It is. I feel like there's a lot of downtime, but when you get those moments of excitement where like somebody's clearly going to get close or get it, like it's a very, very strong burst of excitement.
Yeah, around 5 seconds, you're like, oh, okay, this guy might hold on.
Yeah.
There was a couple where they were by the buzzer.
Mm-hmm.
We went on the slow-mo replay, and it was like when the guy's hand touches the ground, and it was at 8 seconds to the 10th to the millisecond.
And I think it's specifically the right hand.
Yes. Dude, and then there was one where, so they have like the rope around the bull that they hold on to.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would get like thrown by the bull. And one time it got thrown into the stands like right in front of this lady as she was going up the stairs. It almost hit her. This was just a giant thing.
Yeah.
And then it was funny, the clown started like making fun of like, wouldn't that be a crazy way to die?
I know.
He did a good job making a light of it. But it was it was like a big thing to fly that far and like almost hit somebody.
The amount of
it very easily could have. It's surprising it didn't hit somebody.
Yeah, I mean the amount of strength that like a bull has is really impressive.
Yeah. Why do they need to be so strong?
It's actually pretty interesting because like they're a prey animal.
Yeah, right. Like they're not using the strength to like, move logs around on their independently.
Yeah.
Like I get that they're like bred in a certain direction, but like. Is it just because they're so heavy they have to be strong?
Yeah, I mean, like moose also very strong, but like prey animals, they just graze.
Yeah, but they're like running like
yeah.
they got like more endurance strength, I think, a little bit, and more like.
Do you think
bulls have like explosive strength?
Do you think it's just to make it like it evolved to be harder to kill by getting horns
like if you're fighting it's got that burst and it'll get you. Because
like if I'm a pack of wolves, I'm not going for the bull.
No.
Unless he's sick.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's defense.
Yeah.
You got to be strong to defend yourself.
Yeah, which I feel like a lot of male.
How many wolves do you think it'd take to take down a bull?
Ooh, I mean, I'm going to say at least 5. At least.
I don't even know how you do it. Like, it seems like you got to, like, get on his back. Like, I don't think you can get that deep into him.
They were the first bull riders.
There you go.
What if that's the point of the big thing of fat?
Oh,
the wolf latches onto that. And the bull doesn't even feel it.
Exactly. It's just biting at that uselessly.
Yeah.
It's a decoy.
Yeah.
That might actually be.
That's nature.
Entirely plausible.
Nature finds a way. That's what Jeff Goldblum said. You ever heard his Christmas music?
No, I haven't.
It's just one song on Spotify.
Oh yeah, he's got one song.
Yeah, he's playing with like some jazz band, and he does vocals for a little bit. It's Walking in a Winter Wonderland.
Oh yeah,
it's quite nice actually.
I'd check it out. I like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, for the holiday
season. I used to have a Jeff Goldblum podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I did think we did 5 episodes.
All about Jeff Goldblum.
Yep, we did a different Jeff Goldblum movie every time.
Okay, which ones did you do?
Jurassic Park. We did this romantic comedy one I've never heard of before.
The Fly.
We didn't do The Fly. They were all movies like you could watch on YouTube. So they were like very like lesser known, except for we did do Jurassic Park.
They all had.
I actually don't even know where you can find that.
They all had Cambodian subtitles.
Practically. But they were good, some of them.
Yeah.
There's this one where he was like the devil or something, or Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, for future reference, Tacoma Dome, the park and ride.
Yeah, just park at the park and ride
park
and walk
and
up
ride
the street. It was nice and easy.
Phenomenal.
Local insider tip.
You got to do the park and ride. Doesn't matter if it's the east or the west parking structure. They're both fine. They're right.
It seemed like a good amount of other people were doing that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the parking, it was like $30 2 blocks up the street.
Oh, and 40 right by the dome.
Yeah, which crazy when you're paying $20 for a ticket.
Yeah, which one time I was at a parking garage and it specifically said event parking $40. I'm waiting to pay, and this couple in front of me, there's like, well, what do we do? We're not here for the event. We don't want to do the event parking option. It's like, it's not an option.
Yeah.
The price is inflated because 10,000 people want to park in this area.
Exactly.
But it was just kind of funny to see that. Speaking of parking, a lot going on in Seattle this weekend.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We 3 sports teams playing at the same time. The Mariners, the Kraken, and the Sounders all played at the same time.
All at the exact same time.
Pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
It's
cool to have a city that big.
I went to. I was going to take the light rail. I did take the light rail. I went to the Angle Lake parking garage. Easily like 1,100 parking spots. Almost full when I got there.
Yeah, I think you got to go to the Tukwila one. It's better.
But I feel like the Tukwila one has even less parking.
It has less, but everyone goes to Angle Lake because it's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So Tukwila is almost always open.
Yeah. But I made it
more open.
Yeah, that train was packed too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
on the way back too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely on the way back, because I think I want to say the Kraken game got out a little bit earlier. So when it pulled up to like the stadium stop where people coming from the Sounders and the Mariners game were waiting, it already had a ton of Kraken fans on it.
Of course.
So
you gotta jump on further upstream.
Standing room only.
Well, that's to be expected.
Yeah, for sure.
Standing room only is like the standard, in my mind.
At least on the Seattle light rail, you normally on a weekend, unless there's an event going on, I would say it's pretty empty.
Which is like bad in my mind. Like,
It's terrible.
Ideally, you want standing room only.
Ideally, yeah, you want it at full capacity at all times.
My brother was telling me this thing about, I don't remember if it was Hong Kong or Japan or something about their rail system. It's standing room only. It's fully packed every car, and every 3 minutes there's a new one, and it technically can't even go faster than that.
Wow. Well, I've heard in Japan they actually have to push people into the train so the doors can close.
Yeah,
and
sometimes.
It can keep moving.
Well, if you can get an extra 100 people every minute,
yeah,
adds up.
Yeah, and I mean the
I don't mind it. Some people don't like it.
What was that? What's like the most packed like mass transit you've ever been on?
It was probably in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that was crazy.
Maybe it was Singapore.
Ooh, yeah, Singapore.
But Singapore, there's more like, everyone's in single file line.
Yeah.
There's no like everybody get on at the same time rush.
Yep.
It's very like
orderly. Yeah.
So it's a little different, I think.
I was in Washington D.C. for the 4th of July in 2018.
Yeah.
After the big fireworks show at the Lincoln Memorial. Took the subway. Oh my goodness. It was just crunch time in there. But everyone was in a good mood because it was the 4th of July.
Yeah, you're all in it together,
See, here's the thing. That train ride back from the Sounders game would have been way better if the Kraken won too. Because if you had the Sounders, the Mariners, and the Kraken win, what a great train ride.
Oh, I didn't even think about that as like the mixed feelings of the different sports winning and losing.
Yeah, because like Mariners won, Sounders won, Kraken.
Which is surprising because the Kraken, well, I guess it's the biggest game for the Kraken of the three.
Yeah, for sure.
But they've been doing well. I think they're ahead in this series, right?
I don't know if they are anymore.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, that game was kind of a heartbreaker too because like Kraken were down, and then they tied it up 3-3, and then Colorado scored 3 more points.
It's so much.
Yeah, and I mean...
That's crazy high scoring.
A roaring home crowd, because everyone's so excited that they made it to the playoffs.
Totally.
But yeah, Sounders performed well. Rainy. It was rainy that first half, but at least it wasn't super cold.
That's what the rain with the cold really makes it twice as bad.
Yeah, for sure, especially if you lose. Oh,
losing in the rain and the cold.
Yeah, but so far the Sounders haven't had a goal scored against them at home this season.
Oh yeah, I heard of that. Oh, I guess it was you who told me that.
Yeah. So I thought that was very impressive.
They're 5 or 6 games in, I hear.
Yeah. Yep. Number 2 in the West right now, we're tied with St. Louis City.
This tied for second or number 2?
Tied for number 1, but we're technically
behind.
I forget how they determine what's the tiebreaker. I think it's number of goals or something like that.
That makes sense.
So
that would be something silly.
Yeah, so we're number 2.
We're number 2
after the disastrous loss to Portland last week, and it was good to get a win at home against Minnesota. But yeah, that was that, and of course bull riding, highlight of my week. Pretty good weekend actually. Really,
yeah, definitely.
Really strong weekend. I'm hoping the weather gets better. I think it is. I think this week we're going to get some sunshine, and I think it's going to be in the mid-70s this weekend.
Nice. Maybe I'll get some yard work done finally.
Yeah.
Clean up the yard a little bit.
Yep. But I guess to come in news-wise, I kind of wanted to talk about this because it's like a pet peeve I have.
The new warehouse that's coming in South Tacoma?
No,
2.5 million square feet.
Not that one. So it's near the end of the school year, right?
Oh, okay.
And in Gig Harbor, the seniors, I guess traditionally, they have like an elimination game that's played with Nerf guns around town. They're having fun. They're having a nice bonding.
Eliminate, what do you mean?
Like if you get shot, if somebody shoots you with a Nerf gun, you're eliminated, right? And
Okay.
it's over like the course of a week. Like people will
and
like
it's like
ambush
everybody in the high
people.
school?
Yeah, everybody who signs up. Maybe there's a prize or something.
And it's not confined to the school. It's throughout the whole
No,
city.
in fact, I don't think you're allowed to do it at the school. It's throughout town, right?
Okay.
The police and a bunch of businesses are trying to quash it
Oh, okay.
because they're like, it's disruptive, it's dangerous.
It's getting people out and about in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
They
and
might buy
like,
things.
you know, I mean, I can understand a certain degree of concern given like the recent stories in the U.S. of people getting shot for just being at the wrong place. But at the same time, it's like, and this is my pet peeve, I feel like we're just turning this country into a 3.7 million square mile no fun zone.
Yeah, where are you allowed to have the fun then?
Yeah, like you can't be too loud, you can't be out after this time.
Yes.
Like
Exactly. Fun should be allowed. You should be allowed to run
like
in the halls.
like I mean that's
That's too far.
maybe too far, but
Okay,
like
you should be allowed to run in the streets.
Well, to a certain extent, I
You
think
should be allowed to run on the sidewalk.
I think jaywalking. Well, yeah, I mean, yes,
There we go.
but like, I mean, jaywalking laws I feel like are a bit heavy-handed
Yeah.
for starters, right? But like, even like
What about public nudity laws?
if okay, here's my thing:
Uh-huh.
either build more bathrooms or decriminalize public urination.
There we go. I totally agree.
Like, pick
Yeah,
one.
we saw that guy as we were going to the bull riding thing. I don't know if you looked at him that closely, but he was nude enough to have
Oh yeah.
received a citation for it.
Yeah, the which
He was screaming in a crazy way. I couldn't decipher it.
you know, I feel like the custodian or the trash man is the natural enemy of
Oh yeah. Well, they both love the trash.
right, but like for different
Maybe they're
reasons.
Yeah, you're right. They love trash differently, and it's the people who are as closest to you that you hate the most.
Yeah, I you know they keep running into each other, and
They're kind of constantly be running into each
the
other.
the garbage is scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
Every time there's a camp sweep, I mean, the garbage men are always there,
Yeah,
throwing their
think about-
homes into dumpsters, like natural enemies do.
Yeah, throwing their homes into dumpsters. Good point. And then sometimes their homes are dumpsters, and they take those away too.
Yeah.
I wonder how many homeless people have died in dumpsters.
Ooh.
You know, getting lifted up when they passed out.
I wonder how many we don't even know of.
Oh, many.
Like over in the big Roosevelt, Washington Republic Waste Services landfill, there
Never
might be
know.
like 100 bodies in there.
Oh, for sure.
And nobody knows.
Seems very
about
likely,
it.
actually.
Yeah,
They
and,
probably know about it.
and no one will ever find out.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what nobody will investigate.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Dude, should we investigate?
you want to go out to the Republic Waste Services landfill in Roosevelt, Washington? I think it's one of the biggest ones in America.
Really?
It's huge.
How big is it?
Ooh.
Like if you were to guess.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, trains miles long carrying containers full of garbage
Every day.
show up there 4, 5, 6 times a day, maybe even more.
For decades.
For decades, they've been doing this, and they're going to keep doing it for decades.
That's crazy. How big how do they just keep piling it up, or
I'll bet
when
it's
they
like-
dig it down, or
I'll bet it's like probably like 10 square miles of garbage.
wow? I bet it's more than that.
It might be.
I think it might be. Well, I was going to say 100 cubic miles.
Oh, wow, that would be a massive stack. I wonder how big it is. Maybe 10 square miles is a little much, but it's a
No, because it's
massive
got to be
facility.
tall too. It's got to be at least 50 feet tall.
Well, I think they're burying it.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah.
50 feet deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think what they do is they bury it, and then they can collect natural gas fumes from it,
Oh, yeah.
and then that like powers the system or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to look this up because I'm curious now.
But it just seems like, oh my goodness, there's definitely dead bodies in there.
Oh yeah.
Well, this thing. You ever see those videos of like in those crazy third world countries where they're just like, there's like 12-year-old kids going through the big garbage piles trying to find platinum chips and shit,
Oh my
stuff
goodness.
like that.
There's
Just
people doing
a
it like
flake of uranium or something like
barefoot too.
that. Exactly.
Like, yeah. I mean, it's gosh, but yeah, But yeah, I mean, going back to the whole like no fun zone thing, it's just like
how come we can't play around in the dump anymore?
well, like, I like to take overhead pictures of like trains. There's so many bridges where it's like they've got these giant obstacles in the way.
You can't even commit suicide off a bridge anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't like people shouldn't. Hopefully,
no fun.
hopefully people aren't doing that. But it's like, I mean, it's just like, what if I want to watch the trains?
Yeah, come on.
I mean,
Come on.
I know it seems like trivial, but I'm telling you, like anything that you can do that's like fun, somebody doesn't like it. I'm telling you, like, try to build anything anywhere. Build a comedy club. They're gonna be like, it's too loud. There's gonna be too many cars parking
not
here.
in my backyard.
Like, we have to have a compromise between like, you can live your life comfortably, but other people get to have fun.
Yes.
Too. That's a hard balance to strike, but I feel like right now it's leaning too hard to people want to live comfortably at the expense of people having fun.
I would agree. And I think a lot of it also is in like people being upset. And it's like, to me, being upset is something that should happen somewhat regularly. And to avoid it so that way, other people don't have fun, it seems like that balance is you got to find a good people to be around to rebalance it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Can't find the stats on.
I'm not seeing like an actual land measurement, but it has a capacity of 120 million tons of garbage.
Wow, and it's not full yet.
No, well, I mean, some of it they incinerate. So they're incinerating it too to produce energy. So
yes, there we go.
I think it's like, and they collect, I think, like methane and stuff from it too. 120 million tons of garbage.
That's more than there are ants in the universe.
That's not true.
You're right. I don't know the universe. How many ants there might be.
Even on Earth, I think there's like at least 1 million ants per person. There's so many ants.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be 100 million tons then.
Oh, well, I don't know. That's a scary thought.
Is there more ants?
There might be 120 million tons of ants out there.
Well, wait. Yeah, how many things are there 100 million tons are?
Cars.
Like, because, like, it's always nice to have a regular, like, 100 yards is a football field, right? A pint's a pound, right?
Yeah.
100 million tons. I don't have any, like, I can't picture anything that's close to that.
It's hard. I mean, I guess, what's a ton of garbage, you know?
It does say there's 20 quadrillion ants.
That sounds like 120 million tons of ants.
Yeah, but I don't know how much every ant weighs.
Oh, so I think it's variable too. Some are bigger than others.
This says their combined weight will surprise you.
Oh.
But I can't find it. You
got.
That's only 12 million tons.
Wow, that's not a lot. We could fit 10 times of that in the Republic Services landfill in Roosevelt, Washington.
Wow, that's so cool.
Bigger
than 10 times all the ants.
You know what the crazy thing is too? It's only one landfill.
Oh yeah.
And Republic Services isn't the only garbage operation in the area. There's also waste management.
Oh yeah.
So like it's the amount of garbage we produce is
crazy.
Staggering.
It's interesting.
Staggering.
Interesting to think about.
I'm just like,
I'm not helping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we don't incinerate more of it.
Yeah, well, it's surprising to me how much we like move it. It seems like we would want to locally incinerate.
Nobody wants a garbage incinerator near them. That's the thing. It's comfort.
I guess
to
that's
fun.
smart now that I think about it. Maybe I don't want to have a garbage incinerator in my home.
Well, it's I mean
I always wanted one though. It seems so much more convenient.
I mean, we already get it does seem convenient.
Like I like the garbage disposal.
Well, I think home garbage incinerators especially like are a no because it just smells awful and they're terrible for the environment.
Is there anything is there a way to invent a non-bad smelling garbage incinerator?
Yes, but they're like these $100 million facilities that produce, energy for 30,000 homes. The Europeans have figured out how to do it.
Yeah, they did.
Sort of like, how your septic tank doesn't, put a smell up through the toilets.
You're right, but it doesn't give me any energy either. Maybe it should.
No, every time you flush, there's like a turbine, so you get some energy back.
Well, or the methane as it's fermenting in the tank.
Yeah.
Siphon that off and power my car.
Yeah. That would be... You just take a shit in your car, cut out the middleman.
Figure it out.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope the seniors over at Gig Harbor keep on nerfing. Keep on nerfing in the free world.
Yeah. Is it just the seniors?
It's just the seniors.
That's so few people.
Especially in Gig Harbor,
That's
I
nothing.
can't imagine there's more than 100 of them.
Yeah.
And
the old
and they're
people
not
like to have something to complain about if they're complaining about that.
Yeah,
Just give
and
them
if that's
something easy to complain about.
that's the biggest worry they have in Gig Harbor. There's literally nothing else to be worried
that
about
placebo
right
got
now.
stuck over there. Can't come back because they can't afford the toll.
Yeah, which that would be something. That'd be a long drive to come back the other way. The long way.
Yeah, costs more than the toll would.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of fun things, though, we're getting a new park on the Foss waterway.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Melanie's Park should be finished in 2024.
Which is surprisingly quick from what I saw.
I think, because I feel like it's been planned since 2016, so they really got it planned out.
It looked really nice. I saw the mock-up of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of fills out that Foss waterway. There was kind of a little gap where it fills in real nicely.
Yeah, and Foss Waterway is just really a good spot. Like, it's gone from super fun site to hero in like a couple decades.
What a turnaround!
Yeah, I mean the whole area. I mean, Commencement Bay too is EPA super fun site because of all the foundries and steam workshops.
Well, when did it all get turned around?
So a lot of the contaminated sediment was dredged up and dumped into the, I think the St. Paul waterway. So don't ever swim in the St. Paul waterway.
All right.
And then like areas they couldn't get, they just covered it with new uncontaminated soil.
Okay. And that does the job.
I guess it gets you off of Superfund site status.
Now we're just regular fund.
Yeah. Yeah, now
it's
owned by the city and the Department of Natural Resources.
Well, I trust them, I guess.
I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
It's
at least improved.
I think it has. I mean,
we're going to have a park there instead of a Superfund site.
We are. Seems like they got the tribe
on their back
to help out. Well, yeah, cuz I think it's partially their land.
Yeah.
Cuz they own a lot of the port property. But they got some design input on it too, so I'm interested to see how that pans out.
I'm looking forward to enjoying the park.
Give it a really unique sort of Pacific Northwest Tacoma feel to it.
Yeah, right.
So that should be good. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Anything else you're looking forward to, short term or long term? I know I'm hosting at the Tacoma Club later tonight.
Oh yeah, that
I'm the host.
That should be fun. Were you there last Monday?
I might have been late.
They had a really good crowd. I wish I went up. It was a surprisingly good crowd.
Oh yeah,
for
so
Monday.
Maybe Monday will be good again tomorrow.
Yeah, come on out to Mondays. We need good crowds on Monday.
Yeah, and it looks like there's Mondays all next month too. Every Monday next month, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, full mic list.
Nice.
So that's always good to see.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, well, Yeah, I'm sure we're both looking forward to that. Did you say something about a new warehouse? By the
Yeah,
way?
there's a new like I forget how big it was, but it was a giant warehouse that got approved for in construction in South Tacoma.
Interesting.
Yeah, big enough that it made the news.
Must have been a pretty large facility.
Yeah, it was. But there was almost no details about it.
Yeah.
There was like it was weird. The article I read, it was like half an actual article and half like an editorial, like sarcastically making fun of the process of like because it was basically like it had finally cleared all the environmental regulations that it needed to get passed through.
Yeah.
And then it was like the article was like kind of making fun of the government for not being strict enough on environmental things, but that's the opposite stance that I usually take.
Well, like, it reminds me of the extension of the one line down to Tacoma, where you do the environmental impact review. You determine through the environmental impact report that you need to add additional stations. Therefore, you need to do another environmental impact report where the conclusion might be maybe we didn't actually need to add those extra stations in the plan.
Yeah, it seemed like a similar kind of thing had gone on with this. I mean, this warehouse area looked huge.
Yeah, they're gigantic these days.
So, and I'm not sure exactly where I think it was on like 58th or something.
Yeah,
like
I wonder who's building it, because what's hot in warehousing right now is automation.
Oh, interesting.
But the thing is, like, automation would imply that it would be a smaller facility, I feel like, because you don't have to cater the facility to human ergonomics, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to have, if you just have a machine moving boxes and stuff, you don't have to build offices, restrooms.
You don't need 10-foot ceilings.
Nope.
You don't need doorways.
But maybe at the same time,
need air.
they're thinking more space for merchandise.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe it could
More
be
space for inventory.
Yeah, Amazon or something.
But yeah, it's warehouse automation is very hot right now.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
like that. I like automation.
It's interesting to see like
Nobody really likes doing warehouse work either, so it's a good thing to automate.
No, and like the thing is, it'll be interesting to see what new methods of like inventorying and storing like merchandise come out of the fact that now we can automate and not really have to worry about certain human limitations to
work 24/7.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe even organize things in radically different ways.
Yeah. You can hardly even imagine the possibilities.
The sky's the limit. This is like Willy Wonka.
Well, they could have like 500-foot warehouses.
That would be wild,
Just
wouldn't it?
Giant, tall ones.
Could you imagine the public opposition to just like
I would
building
love
this giant monolithic warehouse out in the middle of like Spanaway?
Well, if it's
or
500 feet tall, it only would have to be like maybe a little bit wide.
Yeah. It was skinny.
Yeah.
Like a very skinny and tall
like
warehouse.
a Space Needle type warehouse.
Yeah. Did you know a family owns the Space Needle?
Yeah, I don't know who it is though.
Yeah, the Wright family, but not like Wright Park Wright, different Wrights. They host like a big like family company sort of like networking
That
event.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
You ever been up in the Space Needle?
To where?
You ever been up in the top of the Space Needle?
It's too expensive.
So does that a no?
Yes.
Well, maybe it's sometime maybe for your birthday.
I want to go up to the Columbia Center observation deck.
That one's a little more fun.
I'll
not
bet.
more fun, but more accessible.
Have you been to Smith Tower?
I'm not sure if I have.
Smith Tower, the top of that one, it's a bar. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have been to that one.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Which reminds me, Tacoma, you need a rooftop bar. You need a rooftop bar.
Is there not one in the whole?
Not one that I'm aware of.
Interesting.
Can you think of any rooftop bars?
Is there one on one of the hotels?
Nope.
I don't. You think? That's interesting. I have to think about that, but you're probably right if you brought it up.
Seattle has a bunch. Like even the Charter Hotel, not even that tall, has the fog room on the top floor, and it doesn't need to be like an outdoor patio on the roof. You can put a roof over your rooftop bar, and then maybe a balcony people can walk around on, and on the outside, like it's. I'm surprised we don't have one because I feel
surprising. It seems relatively common.
I feel like they're also like fun. Like it's cool to be up high sometimes.
I
and
agree.
like, you know,
get a good view of your big city.
it's a shame that to go up high, you either have to do business up high, live up high, or you have to pay exorbitant charges to go up high because it's a tourist attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be more leisure up high.
Interesting, like a park on the top of a building.
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That would be cool.
We'll see.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, we'll run for city.
Yeah, well, I remember when greenscaping was like a big push. There were like these living rooftops was going to be a big thing, and having a garden on your rooftop, like more not public, but like if you're in the building, it'd go up to your more lavish rooftop garden.
That's not a bad idea.
I would like it as well,
especially considering like moss already grows on people's roofs against
if you do it
all
in a
odds.
good way, right?
Yeah. So now it's like, well, the whole roof's green, and that's a good thing.
And that's a good thing, exactly. Problem solved.
Yeah. So
do you got anything else for the week, or?
No, not really. That I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, then it'll have to be a surprise what we get up to this week, and we'll let the people know next week.
We sure will.
What we did and what they can expect.
Yeah.
But I guess for now we'll say have a good rest of your Monday, and maybe we'll see you at the open mic.
Yep. See ya.
And live life like the mountains out.